Hello, my name is Gracious Nyasha Mupunga, and I'm going to share on the series Tell the World. This is a series which talks about the foundation of us as Adventists, or give us a history about how the Seventh Day Adventist Church came about. So, there was a man named William Miller. He was studying the Bible and he read Daniel chapter 8, verse 14, which says, "Unto 2,300 days, then the sanctuary shall be cleansed." He wondered what this verse meant, and he continued in vigorous studying the Word of God until he had an understanding that Christ was going to return in 1843. He shared with his wife in this particular movie of the message that he had received. At first, he was hesitant to share the message as he was not sure if it was the right message, but his wife encouraged him to share this word with the world and to let people know that Christ was going to return in the year 1843. He started sharing with little groups. He started traveling the world, sharing the word of God. And as he was sharing this word of God, people came together and people were praying and reading and sharing all that they had. And many people were preparing for the coming of the Lord. In this, we also learn of Joseph Bates, who became part of the ministry, who were sharing the Advent message or the return of Christ with the people around them. And as it is expected, some people, they did not believe that Christ was going to come in 1843, and they continued living their lives as they were doing. Even in today's world, we are proclaiming the second advent of Christ. Some will not believe, some will continue to live their lives, but we are putting a message out there to say we may not know the time, we may not know the hour that Christ is coming, but surely Christ is going to come. We learn of the character Ellen White as her and her family started knowing of this message, and the message was so heavy on her heart that her and her family, they joined the movement. They would pray, they would seek God. Even as she was illiterate up to the age of 19, she started going to school at a later age because of the sickness that she had gone through as a child. We see Ellen White being someone who was key in the Advent message with other brothers, William Miller, Joseph Bates, among others. We see her receiving visions from God, visions of what was going to take place. And in 1844, we realize of the great disappointment. It was a great disappointment on earth that Christ did not return, but it was great news in heaven as Christ was moving to the most holy place to represent the children. He was the high priest between the children on earth and those in heaven. And this led to a disappointment of many people who had thought Christ was going to come in 1844. We see a lot of people, they moved away from the faith, they turned away from the faith, they went back to their lives that they were living in the past, and they wanted nothing to do with Christ. But God, in every movement, even when some get discouraged, God will always have a few, God will have a selected people who will not give up their faith. And we see Brother Miller, Ellen White, Joseph Bates, and other missionaries, they took the message forward. And we see that Ellen White was then used by God to be a prophetess in the church, where she would write encouraging books for child development, spiritual life of the Christian church, health, lifestyle. and she was a leader to be reckoned with. She was married to James White, and she had 4 children that she was blessed with. We see that in this movie, these people, they were so determined to be saved, to play their part in winning souls. I'm just challenging you and me today that in our generation, in the last generation, we should be able to say the message. We should be able to go out there and preach. And may God really bless all of us that we may be able to tell the world about the soon return of Christ. Thank you.